Hello there, everybody. This is Silent Mist, and welcome back to the RedCubed server. Why are we here on the server select screen, you might ask today? Well, I was told before logging in that I should record. Oh God, what's happened? Oh God. Those aren't. No, those aren't. Are they? They're potatoes. Someone left me potatoes. Who left me potatoes? Let's go find the sign. Oh my God, potatoes. So many taters. Hey guys. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I'm back from Kineticon, and I'm only gonna be here for like a day. I literally leave tomorrow morning to go to New Jersey. It's like taking a vacation from a vacation, except it's not really it's not really a vacation, it's more of a going to a place without computers. So I'll have my laptop and I will be on like pseudo detox mode from my desktop. So I figured I'd record a little bit more because I have a lot to talk about, and I have a couple of hours which I can talk about it. It's just I've been tired, and let's see, what is this? Just in case you're short on potatoes. Love TB and Liam. That is wonderful. They left me potatoes. And this is actually good. This gives me a nice episode in which I can spend cleaning stuff up and I can spend talking because I have a decent bit to talk about. So like I said, I'm back from Kineticon. It was a blast. Oh my God, that convention was great. I will most likely be going back again next year. There were some issues with it, but you know, there are always issues when it comes to anything and everything. Pretty much most had to do with the logistics. Like the actual convention itself was pretty much, it was wonderful. It wasn't my favorite. Just saw. It wasn't my favorite convention. That still is reserved by Katsukan. That convention just, it was a perfect mixture of everything that just ended up working out. So yeah, Kineticon. It's probably in a not close, but in a decent second place. I definitely did like this convention more than I liked Anime Boston and more than I liked PAX because, well, in general, I prefer anime conventions over video game conventions. That is something that I have learned with my conventioning experience. But yeah, actually, speaking of conventions, Minecon, that's going to be something that's going to be happening soon, and by soon I mean November 2nd. It's just we have to wait for the tickets to go on sale, and I need to be observing that carefully. But let's talk about the con. So my voice is a little bit dead from all of the talking, yelling, screaming, just being myself that I normally am at a convention. And well, let's start off with a basic summary of the con. So pretty much, it was a blur. It was just one long, exciting trip that was joyous and fun. So, we got there on Thursday. I'm pretty sure I explained this before. I originally wanted to get there on Thursday because I wanted to attend the formal ball, which happened on Thursday. Unfortunately, that did not work out, and yeah, we ended up missing the formal ball because we registered for tickets one day late, and they had already put in all the catering information to cater for the formal ball in before we could register, so we were unable to go to the formal ball, but that was easily remedied by the fact that we went to two raves. They call them informal dances, just dances, but no, they were nothing short of raves. Two of them, and this was kind of a bad idea. I love raves, and now I realize that I really need a lot more rave music in my collection of music, but in total, I think I spent roughly 9 hours raving over a period of 2 days. And my left foot specifically, got very mad at me. Right now, my Achilles heel is a little swollen, and upon doing some research, I realized that I most likely currently have Achilles tendonitis, which really isn't that bad. It's just, it's my foot's way of telling me, hey, Andrew, you screwed up. That was too much jumping. Now sit down and do nothing for a while. So, yeah, pretty much there's nothing really bad. It hurts, it's a little swollen, but it'll go away with, like, a little bit of time and rest, so it's nothing to worry about. I've been applying ice packs to it generously, and it is quite icy. Well, not right now. Right now, I took off the ice pack so I could record, but yeah, the ice pack did help out a bit, and yeah. So there were 2 raves, which made up for missing the formal ball, although I still would have preferred to have gone to a formal ball over 2 raves, just because, like I've told you guys many times, the formal ball is my favorite event at a convention. Why, you might ask? Well, formal balls, when done at the right time, like if you do it on Fridays, not so much Saturdays, mainly Fridays at a convention, that you get to meet people really easily because you're forced into a very social environment, and these are the people that you usually end up hanging out with the entire convention. Without a formal ball, it's a little bit awkward to get that first ball rolling, which is why the Katsucon formal ball worked out really well, because I met people which I hung out with for the entire convention at the formal ball, and that was 3 days of conventioning. Now, it wasn't so much the case with Anime Boston because it was on Saturday, so you had everyone that already met their friends that were, like, all buddy-like at the con, and then there's the fact that it wasn't on Friday, so there was already a day lost for the social environment. And like I've also said, my favorite aspect of a convention in itself is just the entire social aspect. Yep. Pretty much when you're at a convention, you're in a building with another 10,000 people, each of which, for the most part, share many of your interests. So making a friend is quite literally as easy as going over to some random group of people, sitting down, and joining their conversation, which you probably already know what they're talking about. So yeah, it's very easy to, like, meet people there and just form new friendships. And that's why I like the formal ball, because it lets stuff like that happen very easily, because it pretty much facilitates such happenings. So yeah, no formal ball at Kineticon, which yeah. So that made me a little sad. I missed that. Man, I went on one hell of a tangent because of that. But because of that, well, not really because of that, I really didn't treat this convention like I normally treat conventions, because I had just one friend with me this time. You'll see him if you watch the vlogs. By the way, if you want to see my 3 days of Kineticon vlogging, please do go check out the vlog channel. Let me just shamelessly advertise that as usual. But being with him, as fun as it is being with a friend, it really it prevents you from meeting other people, in the sense that you no longer have a reason to go and find people to hang out with. Because when you go alone, like when I did to Katsucon, it was either be alone or go meet people. So I chose the go meet people route, and it worked out very well. But with just one person with you, it immediately becomes like, oh, I don't need to go potentially put myself in an awkward situation because I can just hang out with this person. So in the end, I ended up meeting like everyone at this convention on Sunday, which made me a little sad because that was the day that everyone departed. And yeah, so we only got to like hang out for roughly 6 hours or so. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the social aspect, it wasn't so much as much of a successful con as prior cons, but it was still a blast. Like, I went to a few panels that I really liked. I got to see Overclocked Remix twice. Like, they had a panel, and then they had the Overclocked University panel concert thing, which was just wonderful. I saw them at PAX as well, and oh my god, I loved Overclocked University. I just love OCR in general because they make really nice video game remixes, and that is the greater majority of my music collection. Up until very recently, when I decided that I really need to add a lot of rave into my collection, which I have not yet done. So I am currently looking for some nice Japanese rave music, because when we went to the informal dances, the raves, they really aren't informal dances. What I've noticed at any sort of social event, that if it's not a formal dance, it will turn into a rave. Yeah, it's just, it does, and I don't particularly disagree with such a thing. I love raving as much as the next person does. It's just, it's a rave. And raves, from what I have noticed, are pretty much the event, or the one of the very few places in which human beings are allowed to be as shallow as they want to be without any sort of consequences, and it's sort of looked up to. And I say this coming from my perspective, which is, how the heck do I word this for a video? Like, being the I don't want to say logical, but being the person who sees life in the way that I do, in which I see life as being something that you both enjoy, and the purpose is to continue your species. Yes, that's put bluntly. Pretty much, yes, the point of life, to me, is to find that significant other, and then enjoy the process of the entire social aspect of the human life, and then to pass on your genes to the next person. Now, that sounds a little strange, and it's just what I see as the, quote, purpose of life, unquote. Maybe it might be a little shallow, but at raves, your primal instincts is, oh, look, someone of the opposite gender. They look nice. Let's go be close with them. And you pretty much do that with any old random person. So you're judging people, and it's in a place in which judging people is not looked down upon. So, yeah. How did I even get on this topic? I don't know. But, oh yeah, all non-formal events turn into raves. That's what I've noticed. At least when it comes to dancing. Oh yeah, but actually what I wanted to talk about was regarding the rave, and actually Friday, I ran into someone that I met at, what convention did I meet them at? Was it Anime Boston? Yeah, it was Anime Boston, at the formal dance practice, because I don't really know how to dance, and I still really don't know how to dance, but at the formal dance practice at Anime Boston, I met a group of people, and like, first of all, they were extraordinarily nice. Like, this guy, oh my goodness, he's like one of the nicest guys that I've ever met. And then he's also really tall, so he's really, really easy to spot out in a crowd. But, first of all, I ran into him on Friday. Like, I was just walking around the convention center, and then I see this really tall guy on the escalators, and I was just like, wait, that's him. I recognize him. So I just tried to get his attention by, like, saying, hey, while looking at the escalator, and he totally missed me. And then I just walked towards the escalator and found him, and it was just like, whoa, you're that guy from Anime Boston. And, yeah, and then it turns out that he was one of the DJs at the rave, and he did a wonderful job, and he was close to, if not the best DJ that was at the rave. There were quite a few, actually. They switched out, like, every other hour, and there was one other guy that had a really nice collection of music, and yeah, they came pretty close to one another in terms of which music I liked, but yeah, he was a fantastic DJ, and he was with someone that had a really nice camera. That camera, man, I wanted a nice camera. I just pulled out my point and shoot, and I'm just like, I feel so inferior. But yeah, so rave happened, and it was at the rave that I realized that while I thought that I had lost all sense of shame and just, like, gained the ability to do anything in a social sort of environment, nope, I learned that I still have that last little itty-bitty barrier that prevents me from approaching someone at a rave, mainly because I didn't know how to. So instead of raving with people, instead of raving with persons at the rave, I raved with the people and joined all the conga lines and dance circles and all that stuff. It was still a blast, but I can't help but to feel that I missed out on the rave part of the rave, or at least a part of the rave part of the rave. But, you know, that's just me. So these darn taters, I love them. Also, oh my god, speaking of potatoes, and actually speaking of mareeps, was it Saturday or was it Friday, I think, I met one of my friends that I've seen multiple times at conventions, and he used to go to my school. Then he graduated, unfortunately. But, well, I mean, fortunately he graduated, but unfortunately he had to leave us. I didn't even know he was going to this convention, but we ran into one another, and every time we saw each other, we promised that we would surprise hug one another to see if we could startle each other. And because of that person, we ended up meeting one of the artists at the artist alley, going by the name of the Itty Bitty Sheep, and oh my god, she drew me a picture. Obviously, I had to pay for it. I commissioned her to draw me a picture of a mareep hugging a potato, and if you don't know what it looks like yet, if you haven't seen it on my Facebook page or in the vlogs, actually, by the time this goes out, the vlog should definitely be out. Check out my YouTube thumbnail. That's the picture, the Itty Bitty Sheep. She drew the single, oh my god, that thing. That picture is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, single works of art that I've ever seen. It is combining my two favorite things, a Mareep, which, if you guys don't know, is my Minecraft skin. It is a Mareep in a suit, and that is actually what I usually, quote, cosplay, unquote, as at conventions. And I put this in quotes because it's really not a cosplay. It's just me throwing on a nice jacket and then wearing my Mareep hat. Someday in the future, I might, like, really make it a serious cosplay and cosplay as my Mareep in a suit. But I didn't do it this time because it was really hot in Connecticut. And I actually have a bit to rant about Connecticut as soon as I'm done talking about the event, the actual convention. But yeah, she drew me that picture, and it was just, oh, I loved that picture. And then we like became BFFs, and yeah, every time I pass by our booth, I'm like, I still have that picture. Well, actually, no, that was only on Saturday when I had the picture on me. I didn't want to carry it around the entire convention because that could have resulted in it getting damaged. I would have if there was no risk in that, but there was a risk, and I could not have that risk even be a possibility, so I left it in the car. And I finally got around to scanning it today, which was really nice, although this today is probably going to be like a week or 2 weeks in the future for you guys, because I am quite a bit ahead of my recording schedule, which is really good, because I think that I will be able to have content going up every day while I am away, which is good. I'll be able to take a nice break while I'm away. But yeah, that drawing was just, oh, I love that drawing. But yeah, and then Saturday, rave, and then end of Saturday, I realized, oh wait, my foot kind of hurts. And then Sunday, my foot really hurt. And then today, I realized that my foot was a little swollen, and then I did the research, and I have Achilles tendonitis. Sounds so much worse than it actually is. But yeah. Saturday, nothing too significant happened, other than the rave, and that's when I got to see Overclocked University. But actually, Saturday was the day that I spent on Street Pass the most. Whenever I go to a convention, I spend an awful amount of time on Street Pass. This convention, I picked up another, like, 400 people. Yeah, I got about 400 people. I finally passed 1,000 Street Passes on Street Pass. I also, new pictures were released for, Picture Swap, or whatever the hell that thing's called, and I got decent ways into that, and it turns out that most people, well, actually, those were just released, so, like, nobody had those pictures completed, and I'm pretty sure that I had the most filled in pieces. If I didn't, I was pretty darn close. Not a single person that I passed had it completed at the time that I was, wandering around. So yeah, I got a decent ways into that. I ended up beating that adventure game that's in Street Pass once more. That game, it is way too addicting. It's bad, and it's I don't even know why. It's just like a collectathon, and they nailed it perfectly at a convention because you're just non-stop collectathoning. Every time I saw that green light, I was just like, oh no, I have to check my DS again. And usually every time I checked, there were another 10 people. So yeah, I Street Passed a ton on Saturday. And then Sunday happened, and that's when I formed the Hug Mob. Saturday I got a box from one of the shops. I was just like, hey, do you have a box? And then I went over to the Itty Bitty Sheep to borrow a Sharpie, and just wrote free hugs on the box. And Sunday, I decided that after I saw someone else with the free hug sign, I would get them to join. We'd get a group, and we'd start a Hug Mob, where we'd go around advertising free hugs. And then when we saw someone that looked remotely interested, we'd mob them and give them a group hug. Needless to say, it was absolutely hilarious when a person was not expecting to get hugged by 10 people, and then suddenly they're being hugged by 10 people. So, yeah, that was a blast. Sunday was a day of hugs. I'm pretty sure I ended up giving out hundreds of hugs that day. And you see, one thing that I've learned to do at a convention is to make sure your immune system stays as strong as possible. And to do that, well, consume vitamin C. Lots and lots of vitamin C. I brought a gallon of Juicy Juice with me, and I finished it in those 3 days by having like a cup every morning and a cup every night. That stuff had like 120% of your daily recommended vitamin C, so I can say confidently that I will most likely not be coming down with anything, because I just... It's just like, hey, immune system, you want some vitamin C? And it's just like, sure. And then I'm just throwing it in its face. So, yeah, if you go to conventions, drink orange juice or drink something that has lots of vitamin C or take vitamin C pills, just consume vitamin C. And then make sure that you're, like, eating enough. So, yeah. Cons. Now, before we wrap things up with... before we wrap up the episode, I think that's about everything that happened at the convention. I'm pretty much done cleaning this area up. But there's a little bit more that I'd like to talk about outside of the con, mainly Connecticut. Oh my God, Connecticut and driving was the single worst driving experience that I've ever had. Coming from Massachusetts, I'd like to think the Massachusetts drivers are pretty bad. I'm no exception. I mean, I'm a new driver, so I'm really careful. But in general, Massachusetts drivers, I hate to stereotype you guys, but not only do you suck in general, but quite often they're assholes. And I'm a Massachusetts citizen, so I'm pretty much insulting my own kind, which is fine, as stated by many people. But Connecticut, man, you guys put us to shame in awful driving. And just what the hell is going on? Multiple times, and I'm pretty sure this is the case with most cities, just drivers are dicks. They're just like, oh, who needs to signal? Oh, look, a red light. Oh, look, that crosswalk clearly has the don't walk sign, yet I'm just gonna run out into the middle of the road even though you're only like 20 feet away. So, there were like 4 people that I had to slam the brakes on because they were just like, lol, I'm just gonna run out into the middle of the road. And then there are people that are just like, I don't know which lane I want to drive in, so I'm just gonna drive in the middle. And then there are these two things that just did not sit well with me. First of all, on the highway, there are exits on the left. If you're not a driver, you might be thinking, oh, what's the problem with that? There are lots of problems with that. It has to do with mainly like laws of passing, the way you pass people on the highway, and just the fact that the rest of America only has exits on the right of highways. Well, for the most part. So when we were like driving down to Connecticut, and I'm just like wandering in circles right now because there's nothing left for me to do here, but I still have stuff to talk about. So when we were driving down to the convention center for the first time, when we were going to our hotel on the first night, my GPS told me to take a left off the highway, and at first I just thought it was being wrong because, you know, navigation GPS isn't always perfect. No, it was not wrong. I was on the right lane, getting ready to exit off the right. There was no exit on the right, it was on the left. We were just like, wait, what? So we missed the exit the first time. We had to go take a slightly longer route, but it's just the fact that it was on the left. And then there's this. There are double yellow lines that were dashed. How the hell do I explain that? You know, yellow lines in the highway, there are 2 of them. They run splitting, or in any road when you have the 2 lines. Those lines mean do not pass. Then you have the dashed white lines, which means you can pass back and forth between the lines without any issue. But when you have the dashed double yellow lines, what the hell does that mean? What? I saw them and it's just like, what do I do here? Just, can I pass? Can I go into that lane? What the hell can I do? And then finally, the one last thing that irked me about Connecticut, and like I said, I'm pretty sure this was the case with most cities, people park in the middle of the road where you're not supposed to park. There were so many roads when, like, we ate McDonald's every morning because we needed fat, calories, and carbs to get us through the day. And what's better than that than some, like, McMuffins and hash browns from McDonald's? There's, like, nothing that will give you more fats, carbs, and calories. And going down those back roads, they're, like, 2 lanes. One of the lanes always has a bunch of cars in it. And then there are buses. Buses don't pull all the way over to the right when they try and let people off, so quite often they obstruct a very large portion of the road in Connecticut. Driving in Connecticut. Oh. But now that I've gotten that out of my system, I think that's gonna be all for today, guys. We ended up cleaning up my base, which is nice. Always nice to know that my base is now clean. I'm still a little flustered because of just how much I dislike driving in Connecticut, but I'm okay. It's okay. For now, I think that's going to be all, though. I'm going to calm myself down by drinking something relaxing, and then I'm probably going to record one more episode, because if I can record one more episode, then I think I will have gotten content for every single day to maintain the upload schedule that I've decided to enact for the time that I was gone. And yeah. You hear me just chomping my teeth? There was a little bit of nail that was like hanging off my finger, and I'm just like, I'm gonna take that off before it turns into a hangnail. And take it off I did. So guys, now that I'm back for this one day, I guess I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. It helped me think about Kineticon more, and makes me really look forward to Otakon. Otakon's in a month. I hope my foot isn't still acting up by then. That would be really bad if my foot is like acting up a month after the convention. Then by that time, I will have definitely have gone to have seen a doctor. But for now, I can just hope that some rest and relaxation will make it feel all right. Oh, there are more potatoes over there. Let's go take care of those. Whoa, I was just like, where did we land? And yeah, I've actually got to do a little bit of server work before I leave. Mainly, I have to move the server over to a dedicated host because I am a little worried that while I'm gone, the server's going to go down, and that would be a disaster because then we'd have 2 weeks where the server cannot be used by all the other members. So I'm going to transfer the server over to a dedicated rig. I'm going to go just rent another server from Fragnet. Oh, wait, there was a whole lot more. Oh, God, no. I'll clean that up some other time. So, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this episode, like I've said 3 times, and I will see you all next time. So, until then, farewell. Will I land on my building? Yes, I will. I just missed it. See you all next time. No, they didn't put any inside of the building, did they? No, I need to check that before we leave. Okay, good, they didn't. I was gonna be like, really now? Thanks. Thank you so much. That's just what I wanted. Okay, see you all next time. Farewell.